Today, I'm going to show you busy professionals on a simple food guide for fat loss. Minimal effort. You don't need to count calories. You literally don't need to do nothing. You just need to set this up once. And once you set it up, as long as you can stay consistent, you'll crush it. Qualifications on how this is going to work is that if you're very busy, if you don't have any personal battles with food, when I say personal battles with food, it means like portion control, binge eating, sugar addicts, stuff like that. As long as you don't have any of those, you have 30 plus pounds to lose and you can stay consistent with it. Okay. Now, what you need is we need to figure out your calorie amount once and for all. Your main focus is on what to do, and then the structure and then knowing how to make adjustments. Okay, so let's break this down. So let's say, just keep it as simple as possible. Let's say you're 220 pounds. So then your calories, if you're a very busy professional, you're probably not getting a crazy amount of steps in per day. So let's keep it simple. Times 220 by 10, use that for your calories. So 2,200 calories a day is what you'll go off of. And that's going to be your average. Okay, it's always good to know your numbers. You don't need to necessarily count your calories if you have over 30 pounds plus to lose. Usually you want to really know your numbers if you're under about 20 pounds to lose, because that's where like the little things matter the most. If you have over 30 plus pounds to lose, you have enough room with your metabolism and your calories that you could be eating, where you can set it up where you're kept full and you can still melt fat easily while staying full and not struggling, to keep on track. Okay. So that's why I said plus 30 pounds to lose. Okay. So 220 pounds, let's say you are 2,200 calories a day is what you'll be eating on average. And the next thing is your main focuses that we'll want to set up here. So keeping it as simple as possible. Main focus is consistency. And that means predictability. Okay. You can't accomplish a goal if you don't have a plan, right? You can't accomplish a goal if you don't know what to stay consistent with. So we need something that we know what we can do over and over and over again. That's why we say build your food into like a routine, right? So if you're a busy professional, and let's just break this down real quick. So, your work day. So if you know that your work day is, you go to work from, let's say 9 a.m. and you're done work at, let's say 5 or 6 p.m., however you want to go about it. 5 p.m. we'll say. So when it comes to your eating, you want to make sure your eating is set up into your schedule. So let's say like, if you know that you're very busy during the week and you work a lot, well, then maybe what you should do is like get your groceries all bought and set on Sundays, right? You don't have to prep, but as long as your groceries are bought and done, perfect, right? The next focus is like when you should eat. So if you know that, one of your struggles is why you're not losing weight is because you keep skipping lunch, and therefore you go get fast food and all those calories are causing you to gain weight and becoming unhealthy and not hit your goals, well, then that's like a big problem that we need to fix, right? So that's why we want, again, make this easy as simple as possible. Where do you struggle most with your weight loss, and what can we do to replace that pattern? So if it's okay, well, I'm not prepped, I don't know whatever to eat during the week, well, then we should make sure that we're eating or getting our food and our groceries bought on Sunday, right? That way we can fix that problem of being prepped. If it's that we keep skipping lunch, and we're going to fast food options, well, then we should probably make sure that we have our lunch already prepared before the day starts. If it's because that we're too tired and lazy to want to cook supper at the end of the day, then we should probably find quick, simple food options or meal prep on a Sunday to save us time through the week, right? So there's so many ways to work around it. We just need to apply it, make sure it's something we can stay consistent with, and then just ride it out. And as long as you ride it out and you stay consistent, eventually it's going to become a habit. And as a side effect of it being a habit and you taking those actions, you're going to melt the weight, right? So how this works. So again, needed calories, your main focuses and structure. So let's build out the structure. So again, if you know, let's set up the prep times then, like let's say in the morning, you make breakfast and then prep lunch. So therefore, you know that, okay, I need to get up at X, Y, Z time before I start my shift. So that way I can prep my lunch and I prep my breakfast. Add that into your calendar, right? Make it a part of your normal routine. Our priorities, you'll see your priorities based on what your calendar looks like, right? A lot of us, we don't incorporate our fitness, our food, our weight loss goals into our calendars, and therefore it never gets done. Why? Because we say it's a priority, but when we look at our actual time spent, it's not a priority. right? So add it into your lifestyle. So breakfast, prep, lunch, because we know that we always end up eating out at lunchtime. So boom, then set up as consistent eating time. So like if you have flexibility, like if you're in sales, real estate, whatever it may be, and you have that flexibility with your timing, or if you're stay-at-home mom and very busy, you have that flexibility so you can pick your eating time. So know that when you get hungry and set up eating structure, eating time. So this way, 12 p.m. timer on phone goes off to eat. Okay, I say timer because a lot of you busy professionals like to skip meals and continue working. So a timer should remind you to eat your meal. Okay, and of course, no coffee 3 hours before eating, because you don't want to be kept full by mistake, skip your meal, and then end up overeating later on, right? I'm a huge proponent. I love using caffeine to help keep us full, but we also don't want to use it in the wrong way where we miss a meal that we're supposed to have and then it backfires later on. So your main focus is, when it comes to this overall, your main focus is what you really, really want to focus on. Number one, keeping as simple as possible, is make it easy to eat less food. All right, make it easy to eat less food. So how can you do that? Well, a few areas of focus is caffeine, your eating times, sleeping, protein, fiber, more fruit, veggies, low calories. Okay, so take this kind of power list, right? And just keep this in your mind every day. Okay. And then when it comes to your food, add that in. So it's like the biggest thing, like when I lost my weight, right? When I lost, for those who don't know, I lost about 21 pounds in about 2 months or so. And I work about 10, 12-hour days, and I work 6 times a week. So I'm very, very busy, and I was still able to melt this weight off. And I could have done this without the fitness. I work it every single day, but even without the fitness, because with the fitness, fitness is going to allow you to shape your body, build strength, boost your metabolism. It's extremely important. But when it comes to calories burned, you're only burning about 250 to 400 calories extra from a workout, right? So we could just like cut out that cookie that we keep having, a few times a week, and that's going to make up for the calories burned from the workout. But of course, we should work out, but today we're just talking about the food. So focus. When I lost my weight, I focused on literally just eating for fuel Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday, I'm eating for fuel, and it's extremely, extremely high protein. Most of my diet would be at least 1, if not 2 pounds of protein every single meal. And I took my meals and I cut them in half. And that's what I did for myself to lose my weight. So I skipped my breakfast, I'd have lunch, and then I'd have supper, and it'd be 2 massive meals, and it'd total my calories. And I just made it very predictable. I ate very similar foods every single day. So let's say if I ate eggs and yogurt, and a protein shake for my breakfast, and then supper would be like a steak, maybe some bacon, maybe another egg or some rice, quinoa, whatever I wanted for my side, like just what I personally enjoy, right? Everyone's different. Here's the key, is that if you find that you get bored of food very quickly, swap a protein for a protein, a carb for a carb, and a fat for a fat. This is another thing to make it easy as possible for yourself, is have a combined list. And I do a lot of posts like this on my Instagram that you can take these lists and recipes. Have a big list of like all these different protein options, all these different carb options, all these different fat options that you can have. So that way you have it on your fridge or you have it on your counter. So every new week that comes around, it's like, okay, well, this week I don't really want to eat steak that much. Okay, so we have fish, we have chicken, we could have ground beef, we can make tacos, we could have turkey, so many different options, right? Swap a protein for a protein, carb for a carb, a fat for a fat. Never swap a protein for a carb. Okay, so once you get the list out, you're now even more prepared. Now, the next thing is eat caffeine. Caffeine's going to help you keep full, right? So find out, it's a good way to just test your normal self, like in your circadian rhythm, and like when you get hungry, when you're full, and basically just insert caffeine or food around those times. Just make sure you don't eat or have caffeine after 3 p.m. so that way you can sleep properly at nighttime. But yeah, make it as easy as possible for yourself. Next thing, eating times, right? So the proper eating time setup can go a long way with how your body functions. So you could do the 12-hour time frame where it's like first meals at 6 a.m., last meals at 6 p.m., and then find out in between when you get hungry, insert caffeine, insert protein, insert snacks, boom, you're set up, right? Very predictable as well. If not, you can do fasting. Fasting can be very effective as long as it works for you personally. So you could fast till 12 p.m., 1 p.m., eat in time frame until like 8 p.m. or 7 p.m., whatever works best for you. And then in those meals though, there is that you make sure high protein. The reason why people have a hard time losing weight is because, let's say they eat well most of the time, but it's those odd little times that they do end up eating the fast food, or they do end up having the binge, or they have that bad habit of candy or sugar that they keep giving into. And the reason why they're not losing weight is because those little slip ups, they have all the calories in them, right? We could eat 5 meals a day of like veggies and fruits and high protein and still be eating less calories than if we had one McDonald's massive, like whatever they call it, those big burgers meals and stuff. Like, because those foods there are full of calories and they don't keep you full, right? So they make you more hungry. They make you crave it more. It's very addicting and it's such high calories, so it's easy to gobble down. Eating real food, and again, it doesn't take that much time to wait, right? Nowadays, you sit in the drive-through for 10 minutes at McDonald's and it takes 10 minutes to fry up a steak on a frying pan, right? We just need to get into the habit of doing it. But when we do that, and also busy professionals too, it's like you can also order your groceries. If you don't have the time to go out and get them, order them in, and you'll have a list every single week that you can just click auto to keep bringing it over. And that will save you time as well. But that's why it's going to help tremendously, though, if you have that high protein, if you're prepared and you got your groceries and you consistently have that protein. Sometimes what I'll do during the week is like I'll just get my carbs. So I'll get like my eggs, or sorry, not carbs, but I'll just get different food like eggs, rice, different pasta, stuff like that. And then I'll just take a bunch of ground beef and I'll just cook it up for the entire week. Put 3 days worth in the fridge, the rest of it in the freezer. Every day I bring one out, I'll put one back in the fridge and I just mix it up. I can make tacos, I can make, wraps, I can put it in my eggs, I can put it into my rice. So you can have that variety. Rice, if you want to cook rice up, you can get the Minute Maid stuff, right? You can get her done. So that's the key there, though, is make it as easy as possible for yourself. So again, caffeine, your eating times, your sleep. I say sleep because your hormones, you want to optimize your hunger hormones as much as possible. Next one is protein and fiber, because protein and fiber takes like 6 hours to digest when you eat protein. So it's like takes a longer time, so you're kept full longer. Same thing with fiber, it's going to keep you full longer as well. It's also tremendously well for your hormones, your gut health, your overall just health in general. And more fruit and veggies, because you can basically eat those unlimited and you won't gain weight because it's such low calories. So just feel free to just gobble those down as well. Okay. So that's the fixes that you want to make on. So if you really focus on those there and get comfortable with making the swaps and staying consistent with those eating patterns, eventually it's going to become normal. You're going to have better energy. You're going to function better at work. You're going to perform better. You're going to feel better. And more positive actions will crave more positive actions. The biggest key here, and the biggest gap that you got to get through when it comes to making these changes and losing weight, is that gap of like, okay, this is not normal. I'm trying to change. I'm losing my motivation. And this is just who I am and what I do. It's my lifestyle, right? If you can make it between that gap, and what psychologists call that gap is the valley of despair. Okay, it's a part of the emotional cycle change. Everyone goes through it. If you can have the right expectations, know that's going to happen, and be willing to go through that gap and telling yourself like why this is actually so important to you, and understanding that this is worth everything. This is a top priority. So therefore you're willing to go through the gap because you know it's going to be worth it at the end. Then you will make it to the other side where you can permanently lose this weight. Okay. If we reflect on why weight loss never really works for most people, it's just because most plans, they're just sprint focused, right? Okay, start keto, even though it's not normal to. Start keto, cut out your carbs, therefore your odds are going to lose weight, right? Awesome. But what happens when you want to have the keto, or when you want to have the carbs, when you want to have go enjoy your social life, and then you stop doing the diet plan? Then we go back to old ways and the weight comes back. Right? So this is why we want to just take what do we have going on right now in our lives? What are some switches that we can make to make it as easy as possible, be in a deficit and kept full? And how can we stay consistent with that? Because this is very, very sustainable, right? You're not cutting out carbs or nothing like that, or drinking a shake every day, eating real food, right? So that's some switches there that you'd want to make, and the main focuses that you'd want to stress upon as well. When it comes to your calories, the reason why this is important, because you don't have to count them at first, but what you could do is that if you make your eating set up where it's very predictable, right, where you're eating similar foods around the similar times, what that's going to do is that, let's say every 2 weeks, okay, so you want to check your weight either weekly or daily, depending on your personality. And let's say every 2 weeks, if you're not losing weight, and as long as you're not on like the time of the month, ladies, or anything like that with your hormones, if you're not losing weight every 2 weeks and you're checking it at the proper times, then you can make adjustments, right? So then you can like look back on the last 7 days of your calories, estimate how many calories you've been eating. Oh, shoot, that's why, because I was eating around 2,700 calories a day. So then you can go into like your carbs or that snack or whatever it may be and cut those out, add water, more caffeine to help keep you full and on track. Okay, that's why it's important to know the calories though. So that way, if you do have to make adjustments or review kind of how much calories you're consuming, you can adjust it from there on out. Okay. Now, again, structure, keep consistent, make it very predictable for yourself and habit stack if you can. So if you know that, you start work and you end work at these certain times, or if you're on the road all the time like that, make it a habit. Like, okay, I get done at this time of work. Okay. And I immediately get my protein shake in, something like that, habit stacking. Okay. Another little quick tip, if you're always on the go, like if you're a realtor and stuff like that, have a protein snack pack with you, Greek yogurt, apples, protein powder, beef jerky, stuff like that to help keep you full, little wraps or something like that. So that way, if you're on the go, you can eat those during the day and not end up going to some fast food or something like that. Okay. And then again, adjustments as you go. Every 2 weeks, if you don't lose weight, you can always make adjustments in your eating. So cutting out 150 to 200 calories and then getting back on track and keeping it going. But I promise you, if you do this, it's going to work 100% for you. Like, again, for me personally, I did my calories out once. And how I lost my weight was I did my calories out once, right? I looked at when I get hungry, when I'm full. Okay, so I realized I don't really get hungry in the morning. Okay, awesome. How long can I go fasting until I do get hungry? 1 p.m. is my sweet time. That's perfect because I like to do some deep work until about that time. And then I like to take a little break to eat. So perfect. So that's when I added my eating time. And just to make it easier for myself, I'd make sure I had coffee, honey, Celtic salt in the morning to keep energized and focused with my work. Have the first meal. I know my calories. So what I did, I'm the type of person who can eat basically the same thing every single day for the rest of his life. That's just who I am. So I would make it so I would take about almost half of my calories, of my total calories. I would go in my fitness pal and be like, okay, so I love eggs. I love Greek yogurt. I love all these foods to make in this day. And it's the time I have, so I can make it. Okay, perfect. I'm going to insert that in and I'm going to add enough until I hit my calorie goal and making sure my macros, like just eating enough protein, everything's on track. Awesome. Now that that's done, I did it once. It took me like 5 minutes to do. And now that I did it once, I never have to do it again. All right. Unless I'm making adjustments. Because if I ever want to swap out my food, if I get bored, I can just swap out a protein for a protein, a carb for a carb, a fat for a fat. If I have a list of different recipes and foods, I can just do that and swap them out. So I'm not getting bored, right? Same thing, my second meal. Okay, these are total calories. Now the second meal, I just need to have those calories. Okay, do it up my fitness pal really quickly. How many ounces of steak does it make to get this many calories? Perfect. Okay, the protein, perfect. Okay, what do I want for my carbs, rice, or whatever? Okay, perfect. Add that in, build it out. Boom. That's my supper. All right, awesome. Test that out. Keep going with that for a whole week. Find where I struggle. Okay, if I'm snacking, okay, this is what I'll do to fix it. Am I drinking enough water? And my caffeine intake is properly set up? Awesome. Once that's done, after a few weeks, then you can really review, see what's working, what's not working, swap things out, and then just keep staying consistent. Okay? As you can see, it's weight loss and everything itself is not hard. It's doing it and sticking with it. That's the hard part, right? It's the actual doing, which, I mean, if you're watching it this far, I hope you're serious enough about this transformation and taking action on your goals, right? Because if not, then you're wasting your time watching this. But if you are serious and determined about doing it, that's about 50% of the battle, right? It's about not delaying, it's about doing. That's the biggest key. That's the biggest key. Not delaying, doing. And then it's just doing it the right way, the sustainable, the realistic way. Knowing yourself as a person, what you struggle with, what works, what doesn't work, and applying that in, right? And then just staying focused, staying on track, and then not beating yourself up when you do fall off track, because you will fall off track. And then being confident, being comfortable enough with your food to knowing how to work around the little things, right? Making the swaps, making the adjustments, stuff like that. And then staying consistent, and you'll progress as you go and you grow as you go. Literally, like if someone was just to start their weight loss and just say, okay, I'm just never, ever, 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 ever going to give up no matter what until I hit my goal. And I'll adjust things as I go and I'll learn and I'll grow as I go. They're going to make it. They're going to make it. They're going to stay consistent. Eventually, they're going to figure it out because they're determined. They're refusing to quit. So if one path doesn't work, they'll find the next one. They'll find the next one. They'll get the help that they need, whatever it may be, and they'll get to their goal. right? But if someone doesn't want it out enough, if they just kind of want to change, like, okay, well, I'm just kind of uncomfortable. I want to lose this weight. I just, I don't like it. And if they just kind of want to change, they'll find excuses on why they can't do it. And they'll always keep going backwards to the same place, wondering why they're not losing weight. If you want to lose weight, go all in. Go all in. Just go all in. Because weight loss isn't it making this transformation. Number one, it's all worth it. It's a different kind of life. It's a different kind of feeling, different kind of confidence, energy, lifestyle. It's all different. It's a game changer. It's all worth it. If you're on there, if it's worth it, it's all worth it. But also, on the other hand, is that when you do make it through that valley of despair, eventually it becomes an identity. It's a lifestyle, right? Everyone watching this can probably lose weight. You could probably start a soup diet tomorrow, or you could just eat steak every single day and you will lose weight. Eventually, you will lose weight, but not everybody can keep it off. And that's the hard part, right? And that's the lifestyle shift. So that's why we got to focus on habits, consistency, showing up for ourselves, making an identity. Anyways, that is the training for today, though, guys. I want to pop on here because I missed my last training. It wasn't feeling good, so I want to make something really quickly for you. But I hope this helps you out. I hope this makes sense. If you're a busy professional wanting to lose weight, make it as simple as possible. These are some focuses and areas that you can dive into. If you want some help where like this is literally just done up for you, so you can just simply follow along. You don't have to figure out your calories, the macros, nothing like that, the eating strategy, the routine. That's exactly what I do. That's how I coach my busy professionals, my ladies, when I coach them and helping them lose weight for the last time. That's exactly what we do. So that way you can just follow along, get the results. I'll hold you accountable. I'll teach you as we go. I'll help transform your mindset. And I'll make sure that when you come out of this, it's a part of your identity. It's just a habit. So that way you're in control and you can sustain it. Okay. So if you need that help, I'm on Instagram at coach.hayward, message me CH. But if you like this training, like and subscribe for more, and more is to come. And I'll see you guys on the next training.